Hi, this is Sarah Regan from Strengths Now, and we know that one of the best things we can do in times of crisis or uncertainty is lean into our natural talents. And we're continuing our video series where we highlight one of the different Clifton Strengths themes and talk about how it may show up during times of stress and how it can serve you and those around you well. Today we're going to talk about the theme of context. So if you have context as a dominant theme, you are likely known as a person who is really grounded, maybe grounded in truth, somebody who is studious, an archiver, a real keeper of history, and wanting to make sure that there's the truth that can be gleaned from the past. So you may have this attention to what has come before and how it informs the present or the future. One of the phrases that I like about this theme is the idea of being an archaeologist. Maybe that's for your team, your organization, your family even, but to think of what are you unearthing and bringing to light that is gleaned from the past. So during times of change or stress, what you want to do is to be able to ask the questions that draw upon learning about what do we already know? How is this similar to something that has happened for our team, for our organization? What you really want to be doing is learning from mistakes and capturing those lessons learned and providing feedback. This is a theme about wanting to make progress, but in doing so in a way that doesn't cause you to repeat the same mistakes. So you could be a really good person because things are moving so quickly. The past is what was happening 2 weeks ago is maybe not what's happening now. What's going to be happening 2 months from now may be completely different. But you can be a person who is taking note of what are we learning along the way. And I would even recommend to be a person who's documenting that and sharing back that information as you move forward. So depending on your other themes, you might also be able to take a really long view of history. That's this very long arc in a way that can be grounding for people or provide a very wide perspective. So you might be thinking of this as a particular moment in time in your country, in society, in the world. But noting that even through the beginning of time, there have been moments that have called people to become resilient, to weather really difficult times. And sometimes just being the person who gives voice to that, it can be very grounding and help to stabilize people. One of the things I'd encourage you to do is to be the person who asks, let's debrief. A meeting, or let's debrief something that you've put into motion so that you're capturing those lessons for the future. For many organizations had a preparedness plan in place to some degree or another. And I'm sure that everyone is learning things now about how to update that emergency preparedness plan. So you can be a person who would very much volunteer to lead that kind of effort or to ensure that it's happening. One of the great frustrations for this theme is when people don't learn from mistakes made or learn from history. So you can be a person to ensure that that happens. One of the watch-outs with this theme is that sometimes there can be a perception that you're slow to move because perhaps you want to be rehashing or revisiting the past before moving forward. So just be checking in about how this pace is for you. Many of us are being asked to shift very quickly, and so it might not feel like there's been that ample and thorough time for review before being asked to change it up again. And so I think it's a time in which we all just have to accept that that's part of the reality and go with the flow when we need to. So I'd love to hear from you about how context is showing up for you and the value that it's adding. And feel free to leave a comment or reach out. And otherwise, hope that you're doing well and look forward to connecting again. Thanks.